Okay.
Conversation continuing.
Yes, but with Tobias' sickness, we're gonna have to truncate the presentation. Okay, Grandpa. Now I have to bring you up to at least to the 1970s.
70s?
Yes. So we have a ways to go. We have about 50 years.
What about Second World War?
Well, let's
50 to 70 would be blank.
blank.
Well, you're proposing the 70s.
Well, we'll get on. We'll see how far we get. What I'm interested in. Okay, you went to India with Grandma, and en route you went to Egypt. You actually saw the world for the first time.
Yes.
How did that affect you to see parts of the world that you had previously just read about? And of course, you were getting along with Lydia for the first time. You were married. You had a lot of changes in a very short period. How did those affect you?
I would say offhand, it was all a welcome experience. You get on a ship, get a visa, a passport. It was all exciting. It actually had to happen in 2 months. And of course the shipping was arranged by the board. But having a month at sea, that was a new experience. Besides, it saved us enough money so that I could buy furniture from the money saved. Salary paid for a whole month at sea.
And no expenses.
And everything new was, being at sea was a new thing. I had never tasted salt water. Here, day after, the first day after New York, it felt good. But on the second day, there was a light swell in the sea, and it affected me down here. First time I ever tasted seasickness.
Ah. Now,
In general, that was a lovely honeymoon. Nobody ever got a cheaper honeymoon either.
I'd say not.
We had everything paid, and but we were cut off from the world too. There was no radio news to the ship. They had an emergency system, all right, but it was only for the ship. And once in a while, every 2 days, report that such a thing as a war broke out. Most of it, otherwise we didn't have contact with the homeland until we got to Bombay.
What year was that?
A month later.
1922.
22.
That was November 22.
Now, we'll kind of skip over your experiences in India because you've documented those in your memoirs. But how about when the Depression hit? You were in India from when until when? When was your next furlough? From 1922 until?
22 till 39, with a furlough in the 30s, 31.
31. When you went back to America in 31, what did you were in the midst of the beginning of the Depression? What did you see, and what changes
At the time, I
happened?
didn't realize how serious it was.
Oh, okay.
That it was the collapse of unemployment. But we didn't experience it because our salaries were not cut, and we were given housing allowance, had work to do. We were not affected too much by people's unhappiness or financial troubles.
India was not in depression?
India was not affected by the Depression, I think, because India was not an industrialized country.
People still grew food and ate it.
Oh, yeah, the upper class, the upper classes.
Nobody, but their own native, slow native village life. And India became a modern state only when it became independent of Britain.
You were back in the United States in 31. What changes did you notice? You had been gone for 8 years, 9 years. Were there significant changes, or did America, other than certainly the cars must have looked very different. There must have been many more cars.
Yes, definitely, because my dad didn't have a car. When we went to India, he bought one later on, and the girls had to be his driver because he didn't know how to drive. Well, after doing 6 or 8 months at St. Paul's Church to bat for Zorn, and I was free to travel. And I decided we were going to go out to visit Lawrence and Edna in Wyoming. I bought a car, a wretched old car, but
What sort of car was it?
the thing was a Plymouth.
Your first car was a Plymouth. Two-door sedan?
Yeah, so we took along Larry and Luther and my parents. My parents, for them too, it was an unusual trip. It took us 3 days to get out to Wyoming, I think. But I joined those sisters and brothers who tried to train my dad to drive. I didn't succeed either. In the middle of Kansas, I turned the wheel over to him. It was nice open country. And in a town of Concordia, Kansas, or one of those towns. Wide street. He was driving, plenty of room, but a truck came side of us, and as it should not have done, cut across. And Dad didn't get on the brake and panicked, and the truck cut across and cut off our radiator.
Chopped off your radiator?
Damaged it anyway. We had to replace it, and it took that dealer 2 or 3 days to get the part of the new radiator, Kansas City or somewhere. So we were parked in a hotel there for 2 or 3 days, and I don't think my dad uttered a word during those 2 or 3 days. He was so done up because he had done it, and he valued the value of $1.
Oh, yeah.
Expressly, wasn't a businessman. And then we went on and stopped at my vicarage place in western Kansas overnight. And when we got to Cheyenne, I got a letter from the board of St. Louis saying, your presence is required for a board meeting next Tuesday or whatever. I had known that before and I had begged off. But the board insisted, Dr. Brunt insisted that I must come.
So you turned around.
So I left the family at Cheyenne, went to St. Louis by train, and I rejoined the family then at Oklahoma City for my brother's marriage. But Dad, of course, couldn't drive, so my brother got some leave from the Army. He had been on medical leave because he had lost his foot, lost the sole of his feet. He insisted on walking with his GIs on an elaborate training exercise. I saw him pull off his boots when he came home for that trip. With his boots, he pulled off his sole of his foot. But we wouldn't take it to ride. Well, so he got leave from the Army, and he drove the car from Cheyenne to Oklahoma City.
What were you doing in Cheyenne?
Visiting him.
My Army brother was there, Lawrence. And his driving was not to my wife's liking. Easy, tough steel road through Kansas, Oklahoma. And he passed cars with wild abandon, in her opinion. So, well, after my brother got married there, Al, with Dad's car, drove that car back to Indiana. And I followed him in the old Plymouth. My whole family, who never were with us too, my mother. She had an enormous sympathy with me because I was too slow at driving for Al, my brother Al. He had a new Chevrolet driving, and I was too slow. And at someplace in Missouri, I went into a garage, troubled the wheel. What was it? Oh, hold on. Anyhow, the wooden wheel had dried out so much that it was in danger of falling apart.
Oh my goodness, there was
I
a
had to
wooden
get a
wheel?
And that irritated my druggist brother. He had to he insisted on staying there to protect me against my bad driving. He, well, found me reviewing ultimately.
Now, then you went back to India. And and this was a time of ferment, I'm sure, because Gandhi was...
Well, yes, I was gone 8 years, and I had committed myself to that church in Chicago. See, when Pearl Harbor...
No, wait, you had gone back to India after your furlough.
Oh, yes, you are.
You came back to India, now you...
Second term in India. It was the most fruitful of my life in India, I think. Because I was accustomed to the country, and my thyroid was under control. And we had a couple of kids running around. For them too, it was a happy time, I think.
What were your kids like? What was Larry like as a kid? Can you characterize him?
A nerd.
They were outdoor, and Larry especially. He wanted to be outdoors continually. And the rule was that kids did not go outside from 10 or 9 o'clock in the morning till about 4 in the afternoon, even with topies. Doctors had terrorized us almost by sunstroke and such danger, food. So they had to be indoors, but we had those big bungalows for that purpose, to keep kids happy indoors. They didn't have to go outside.
But Dad preferred to be outside.
Oh yes, he wanted to be the gardener. We had a gardener who brought all day long. He worked either chopping up firewood for the stove, a cooking stove, or carrying water.
So he was a doer. Was Uncle Lou more of a reader?
I think so, yes. He was more content to be indoors, although he